How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to talk about just an email I got about somebody who was who'd been off the alcohol for 4 years. I'll read this email out. I'm not going to give you too much of the details of this, but I'll give you some of the most pertinent ones which don't give away the person's identity. So this person stopped drinking alcohol, and 6 months later they fell into a coma and they had to be hospitalized for diabetes. I'm not sure, I think it's type 1 diabetes. They didn't know they had diabetes. They couldn't see clearly for 3 months and had to take insulin 4 times a day, right? Now, for a couple of days over a period, they had a very high stress situation and they relapsed for 2 nights, right? This is after 4 years. And they discovered the videos and listened to them every day. And even after 4 years of being sober, I was starting to think of alcohol, but did not want to start again. I haven't drank since, but I'm afraid to fall again. Could you talk about when somebody who has stopped for 4 years and had a relapse and regretted it deeply, but can't put that relapse behind them? You know, it's like anything else in this life, you know. This is not a race to the end, right? It's not a competition. It's not something that you should be viewing as an all or nothing thing where, you know, like, if you take any other aspect of life, right, in your normal life, let's say you're learning anything in life, and this is what this is, right? Quitting drinking alcohol, you're learning new habits, you're learning new ways of doing things. And whenever you're learning anything, you take it day by day by day, right? You take it step by step, you learn something and then you move on to the next thing and you move on to the next thing. And most of the time when we're learning, we sort of figure out how to do something, we make little mistakes and then we sort of adjust and we figure out how to do it a little bit better, make more mistakes and figure out how to do it a little bit better, and so on and so forth, right? And it's a sort of a failure, step forward, maybe step back, failure, step back, move forwards again, failure, step back, move forwards again. And over time, you make slow but sure progressions, and you get experience and you learn more. And as you gain that experience and you learn more, you become more confident in what you're doing, and you don't make the same mistakes, right? And if you do make the same mistakes, then you have to sort of rethink how you're doing things. Now, this is what we're talking about here is people using alcohol as a tool, and that's what we all do. No matter which end you're approaching this from, if you're using it as a tool to forget things and to relax or to de-stress or to just get out of your head every night, you don't like being in your head. A lot of people have just emotional pain, and they can't deal with the emotional pain. So one of the ways of doing that is to get out of their face, right? So once they're drunk, they don't think about the pain anymore, right? Once they're drunk enough, they don't think about the pain anymore. But the pain is still there, the emotions are still there, so it doesn't do anything for them. So at the end of the day, even if you're using alcohol as when I first started using alcohol, it was because I wanted to be a man. I wanted to grow up. I was in my early teens, 13, 14 years of age, and I thought by drinking alcohol that I would appear to be a man to other people, although not many people drank alcohol. Another thing was that I was under peer pressure from my mate. I was giving him the peer pressure and he was giving it back to me, so it was a sort of a reciprocal thing. But then gradually as I got older, the reasons for using alcohol evolve. You start to use alcohol for different things, like I used it for talking to women. I couldn't, I was so shy that I couldn't talk to women without alcohol. And then later on in life, I used it to relax, to grieve, for many different reasons. But I mean, at the end of the day, you get into the habit of doing it then, so you just do it because you do it, because this is something that you do and it becomes a part of that core identity that you have about yourself, is that you're this type of a person. But when you're using it for stress relief, and when it has been a tool of stress relief, when it has been a tool when something bad has happened, you've turned immediately to alcohol, you don't need to think about it, you just do it, then even after a few years, it can happen. It can happen that you turn, you feel so stressed that you automatically think about going back to alcohol, and you might automatically just start doing it. You feel it's there in front of you, or it's easy to get, and you just go and do it. But it's just a blip on the screen. It's not anything that you need to worry about. It's the problem is if you've done this because of a high stress situation, right, and the high stress situation has disappeared, right? So you drank for a couple of nights, the high stress situation disappeared, it resolved itself, or you resolved it in some other way, which you will have done. If you've been off alcohol for 4 years, your brain is going to be sort of on a good wavelength. You're going to have your wits about you. You're going to be a lot more alert. Stopping drinking. A lot of people say to me, well, I'm off alcohol for a month and I took a drink. Now I'm back to square one. Well, you're not back to square one, because the amount of stuff that you've learned in that 4 weeks about yourself, about your life, about what being off alcohol feels like, is an education in and of itself, right? And if you've been off alcohol for 4 years, then that is just, for me, I'm 4.5 years off alcohol now. And I understand so much about myself and about my life, and about what it feels like not to drink anymore, that it just feels unnatural for me. So if something really bad happened to me, and if that did, if I subconsciously went and took a drink of alcohol, then you have to look at it like it's just a blip on the screen, because when you wake up and you realize what you've done, right, you realize that you shouldn't have done this, you're not going back to square one again, because you've got this 4 years in between when you drank before and drank now, right? It's not a timer, so you don't have to reset the timer and go, well, it was 4 years before I stopped drinking before, now it's 1 day since I stopped drinking. You just have to sweep this under the carpet and just don't do it again. If you go another 4 years and then you have a drink after 4 years, I'm not saying that you should do this, but you have to look at it from a realistic perspective, that if you do it, it's not the end of the world, right? It doesn't mean that you're an alcoholic, right? It means that you were under pressure, that you caved to the pressure. Maybe you have to think about that, and that you took a drink, but it's not going to bring you back to the beginning again. Where you were at the beginning, drinking every day, right? This is where I was at the beginning, getting up, drinking every day, thinking about drinking all the time, thinking about the taste of the drink all the time, and overcoming the consequences. And this lifestyle of, perpetual misery, that is so far in my past that if I got pissed tonight, right, which there's no chance of me doing, right, unless something, really bad happens to me, and, it's the only way that I can think of then and there to get over this, whatever, And I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's a tough one, this, because, there but for the grace of whatever go I, that's the old saying. So I'm saying is that don't beat yourself up about it, It's not something that you should take seriously. If it's 2 days and you get up the next day and you've no wish to drink alcohol again, then you're right back on the path again. That's what you should be aiming at. If you get up the next day and then you start thinking, well, maybe I can drink again, or I really want to drink again, then you sort of have to start thinking along a different line. So you have to start, first of all, and assess where you are now, right? Assess what your brain is thinking, right? What your mind is thinking. Assess exactly what kind of thoughts are coming out. Do you want to drink more? How has it made you feel mentally? What has it changed about you? Has it changed anything, or are you just guilty about the whole thing? Are you just thinking that you have to go back to the start again? you don't have to go back to the start again. You're 4 years into this, and one little blip on the screen. If you're, let's say you're taking a journey, you're taking a car journey from, say from Madrid to Barcelona, right? And you've set the GPS up, and you're driving there, and you're almost to Barcelona, and you take a wrong turn, and you go down a wrong street. Your GPS is not going to send you back to the beginning again and tell you to start off again, right? It's going to sort of make you a little detour around. Eventually you get back onto the right road that you should be on, and eventually you get to Barcelona, right? Same thing here. When you quit drinking, it's people like the AA that have been brainwashing us into thinking that you're one step away from being an alcoholic. You're one drink away from being an alcoholic again, that if you take a drink, that you have to go back to the beginning again. It's all these chips at the alcohol, so many days without alcohol. Yes. I'm Kevin O'Hara, and I haven't had a drink in 4 years, 2 months, 65 minutes and 27 seconds. That kind of thinking is just, it's ridiculous. It's not real. It's not realistic. You have to look at this in a realistic point of view. It's just a blip. It's just a detour. Get back up on the path again and carry on. Think about how you're going to deal with this kind of thing if it happens again. What are you going to do? And put those in place. If this happens, then I'm going to do that. Try and think about it from that perspective. But forget about the alcohol. It's not. Just having a little detour like that is just that. It's just a detour. So that's it for today. I'll leave it there. If you have any questions at all, then you can send me an email to kevin@alcoholmastery.com, or come on over to the website and leave a comment underneath any of the videos, and I'll see it. Leave a comment if you're on YouTube. If you want to sign up for our quit drinking alcohol starter pack, it's got 2 or 3 different courses in it, 2 or 3 different books, and a lot of other stuff just to help you in your first days of your start drinking journey. It's absolutely free. Just go over to alcoholmastery.com. It's there on your first page, or if you go to any of the pages, you'll see a little pop-up bar. The pop-up should come up. It'll come up every time you visit the website. Every 3 times I think it comes up. But if you don't want to take any notice of it, then just click away from it, and you can carry on watching the videos. I'll cut away from this rambly video now and leave you to it. Until next time, stay safe, keep the alcohol out of your mouth, onwards and upwards. Good luck to you. Bye now.